get set. Thanks everyone for being here. A quick reminder, this time next week we will not have a press conference due to it being the bye week, and then we'll resume that following week. We kick off this week 6 p.m. Central Time on FS1 in Washington. If anyone is planning on going that hasn't applied, send Jacob and I an email. We'll get your credentials squared away. And then we should know the Indiana kick time either this time next week it will be announced, or if the network exercises their 6-day flex, we would know after the following week's games during our bye. So stay tuned. We'll make sure to announce that to everyone as soon as we get it. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach and go into questions. If you have a question, go ahead, raise your hand, get my attention. Coach.
Excited about the growth and development we saw from our football team on Saturday. Have had an opportunity to get back in and review the film with our team. Clearly, still a lot of areas that we look forward to improving upon as we continue to, develop as a football team. Incredible challenge ahead of us. With our first Big Ten contest this upcoming weekend. Travel out to Washington. Very good football team, well coached. I know they're coming off a difficult loss in a rivalry game, but it's going to be an environment that we're going to have to prepare well for this week. Work through some of the logistics of the length of travel, and prepare for a really talented opponent. That is a challenge that I know this team is looking forward to. Team will be back in, this evening to start and get into our base down game plan, and have an opportunity to practice briefly tonight. It's a challenge that I know this group is looking forward to.
Coach, now that you've had a chance to look at the film, what are your impressions of Jack's first start?
Yeah, no, I mean, you could tell it was his first start in the first half, just in terms of getting into a rhythm and getting comfortable. But, really proud of the way that, he, managed, that 2-minute drive at the end of the first half, and the way that he came out in the second half. I mean, just his timing, his comfort level, his confidence, and you could start to see just the confidence building around him with his teammates. Excited about not only the growth that we've seen in Jack this last year, but really excited even just in terms of the maturing process we saw happen before our very eyes on Saturday night.
Coach, you're facing a veteran quarterback in Will Rogers this weekend. What have you seen from him on tape thus far, and what do you expect to see from him this weekend, and how can you prepare to sort of slow him down?
Yeah, I mean, really talented player, very experienced player. Performed at an extremely high level in his time at Mississippi State. He's within an offense at Washington that, he's really well coached. Coach Fish, the job that he's done for years, structuring offense and finding ways to stress defenses. You got a very talented, experienced quarterback with a really talented coaching staff. It's a scary operation. There's talent out on the perimeter, talent in the backfield. They're going to find ways to stress their opponent. We got to do a great job of forcing him to process post snap, and we got to do a great job of affecting him in the pocket. If he's comfortable in the pocket, he's scary.
You got 2 block kicks in 2 games, and you've come close on some others. To what do you attribute that?
Yeah, some of it's just, effort and, guys playing really, really hard. Give our special teams staff, Coach Creighton and Coach Opsel and everyone that's working with that group, a lot of credit, especially in the Duke game of making some adjustments in game to give our guys that opportunity. But I think what you see is, whether it be Najee, as a defensive tackle that, typically defensive tackles aren't super locked in special teams meeting, but I think you got a group of guys, Dave, that are just, fully bought into every single rep, whether it be a offense, defense, or special teams rep. And the thing I'll give our staff a lot of credit, we do a lot of circuit work, especially in spring ball and fall camp, of working certain techniques and diving into those fundamentals that can create those opportunities. And, to see that showing up in production is really exciting.
Coach, nationally you're ranked with yardage, rushing yards allowed, less than 60. less than 3 yards a carry, 2.7, that's 6th nationally, and you attribute that to what?
Fundamentals, technique, really sound scheme, guys playing really hard. Guys never being satisfied with being blocked and just holding their gap. I mean, block destruction is so critical to that. It's amazing how you can play really sound defense, even with a lighter box, just with guys that are creating knockback and getting off of blocks. It's a credit to our front seven. It's a credit to our guys in the back end. We get our DBs involved in run fits frequently. Their tackling fundamentals and technique continue to show up, and as you know, Ted, I mean that's something that we're going to have to continue to do a great job of. And I know it sounds cliche, but it all starts off with fundamentals and technique, and there's no doubt that from a scheme standpoint, our staff's understanding of run fits and how they're structured is really high level.
You're coaching against Jed Fish again. Last time was North Dakota State for you and Arizona for him. Do you have any memories from that game and anything is there any translation to now 2 years later?
Yeah, no, I think that's something that, we're, I mean, to answer your first question, I do have memories. They're not good ones. I mean, that was that was a tough loss on the road. I do remember walking away from that game, not only in the prep for the game, but also post game, just feeling like we were going against a really well coached operation that understood how to stress defenses. I thought the quarterback play was really high level and well coached, and it was that one was a tough one to swallow. Tremendous amount of respect for Coach Fish and his staff, and especially when you got a quarterback like Will that is as talented and as experienced as he is. We're gonna have to be at our best for sure.
Coach, you talked about the front seven. 7 guys have at least 1 sack. Kenny Soares Jr. has half a sack. You talk about the depth about all these different guys. You look at Dylan Roberts last week, for example. Guys picking up sacks. Can you just talk about the depth there? Yeah,
no, it's really exciting. I mean, it's something that I learned in my time at North Dakota State of how valuable it is to play with depth. You always talk about development, but especially with the D-line position, sometimes that development can really be forced just by having an unwavering belief that we're going to rotate guys in, keep them fresh. Those game reps start to add up. It builds confidence, and it's also a credit to Coach Smith, just his willingness to develop that entire room. I think sometimes the misconception is that sacks come off of just one individual's great pass rush ability, and in reality, sacks come from, number one, doing a good job in the back half of forcing the quarterback to process, having good coverage, but also working as a front four to build a pocket that keeps a quarterback in the pocket so we can finish. But again, I think Dylan Roberts' sack is a great example of just a room that just continues to improve not only individually but collectively.
You look like, speaking of depth, wide receiver was an area of great depth for you coming in, but now you lost Ricky. Frank went out the other night. What does that unit look like now from a depth standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, we're hopeful that we'll be able to get some of those guys back here in quick order. Hopeful that Frank will be able to go this week. I'm certainly glad that we've developed a lot of great depth in that room. The nature of Big Ten football is you're going to get nicked up as the season goes. But we're going to have to lean on that depth now more than ever as we look to get those guys back that do have an opportunity to get back here in short order.
Coach, Jack started the game about 3 for 12, but completed his last 11 passes. You mentioned you saw his maturity and his development over the course of the game. What do you need to do to make sure that he starts the game hot, especially going into a hostile environment like Seattle? Yeah, no, it starts with practice habits, which Jack is always going to be, fully engaged and urgent and all those things. The environment is something that we need to prepare for and will prepare for, but it can't be an excuse or an explanation for us to not execute at a high level. And Jack, I'm fully confident will come in there with poise, with a lot of confidence. Operate through the offense and have confidence in the guys around him. I think the thing that was fun to see, even when some of those passes early on weren't maybe hitting, just the confidence that he has in his teammates. He makes a really good throw to Marshall Lang on a 3rd down in a tight window. The ball that he puts up early to Bryce Kurtz, on a shot play, he's given Bryce a chance. Really good coverage by Eastern Illinois, but it comes down to great preparation and doing our best as a staff to prepare him and the entire group for the environment that we'll be walking into.